of history are written by those who claim victory, controlling minds for 2,000 years, kept us in line by stoking our fears. No longer will we hide who we are. We're stronger together by far. We are witches, we shall rise from the earth into the skies. Unite.
You're muted, Chrissy. There you are.
I know. It always does that. My computer has like a delay, and it's like, what's going on? So, anyway, welcome
It's a
to Within
Monday.
the Cauldron. Good morning, everybody. It's a Monday, yes. Mondays, I hate Mondays, believe me. And it
I think
seems
we all
like
do.
it gets
They're
worse.
really
I
not
know,
fun.
it's like it's worse, you know. But we have a awesome guest on today. She's been on a couple of times before. We just love her. I love her books. I'm waiting for her next book to come out. Hint, hint.
I'm working on it.
No pressure.
But she is going to be talking to us today. So, sis, why don't you introduce this lovely lady?
I will. It's Witch-Priestess-Author Lady Wolf, who began practicing witchcraft at the age of 16. In the past 25 years, she's been deeply involved in honoring this path through activation, learning, and training with numerous teachers and mentors. She is a triple ordained Wiccan High Priestess, honoring 3 different lineage. Let's see what else. Here we got lots of great stuff here.
I've been busy.
In September 2018, she was ordained a Dianic High Priestess and given the title Lady Wolf in recognition of her work as Shapeshifting Priestess and witch devoted to raising awareness once more to the importance of animism and totemism as a sacred tool to activate reconnection to the earth, animals as sentient and divine beings who have embraced as gods since the very beginning. So welcome, Lady Wolf.
Well, thanks for having me again. Good to see your faces.
Absolutely. We're so excited.
I know. When she said she wanted to do this podcast, I'm like, yay.
I
Of
know.
course, it's always great to have her on with us. One thing I want to ask you first is how do you define shape-shifting?
So for me, shape-shifting is taking on an energetic shape of something else, whether it's a plant or an animal, or it's not like a physical transformation like Hollywood wants you to believe it is, but it's the knowledge that we're all beings of energy, so we can connect with other energies as well. Like looking into a mirror, you can shape shift and become more of what you already have within yourself. We suppress these attributes. A lot of people call it your shadow side that, you suppress. It's just there under the surface. So when you tap into that energy, a lot of times you look outward to a source of inspiration. So you can shape shift with what you're looking at, say like a wolf. We'll just piggyback on a wolf because Hollywood likes to make the werewolf such this theatrical creature that people can transform into. You can shapeshift and step into a more wolf-like energy by tapping into your senses and giving them heightened awareness and embodying them more. So and I can only define shapeshifting for me because it would be a disservice to define what it is for other people. So all the questions you ask me, I will only answer from my standpoint because that's just what I can do.
Right.
I'm only my experience, not anyone else's. So
Yeah,
that would be my
fair.
long definition of shapeshifting.
Yeah, that's fair enough, really. That's all we can do is answer from our experience and how we,
Right.
from our traditions and everything like that as well. Another question I want to ask you is, what is a spirit animal, and how is it different from a power animal or a totem animal, or is it all the same?
I think it's all very similar, not exactly the same, because you're working with different indigenous cultures, and they have their different connection and their belief system and their practices, and those should be deeply honored and respected. But at the core of it, it's looking to an animal and becoming one with that animal and seeing that connection and moving into it. The work I do with spirit animals is I help connect people to their primary spirit animal. So most people have a primary spirit animal for about 7 to 9 years. And a lot of that has to do with your Saturn in your house. So we all know that Saturn likes to come and play about every 7 years in our lives and causes us to have some kind of full shatter moment. And so we need a core anchor to help us maneuver those 7 years before we fully shatter and move into that next Saturn, call it a Saturn return. We've all had them. They can be detrimental, they can be beautiful, but either way, I just liken it to the tarot card, the tower. Everything has to fall apart, but at your core, you have this anchor, and when you anchor it into an animal, it disconnects you from human ego and allows you to be more energetically present with the elements.
Oh, cool. Very cool. I like that. Now, there are meditations that you can do to try to connect to your spiritual animal. Do you care to share one or two of those that we can?
Absolutely. I want to take everyone through my spirit animal connection. And then where you're both here, I want to talk to you about the animals that come through to you and how you can shapeshift and work with those animals on a day-to-day basis. So I'm really fortunate to do spirit animal work. I had a wonderful mentor. Her name was Michelle, and I trained with her for 18 years. And she really handed me over her practice of spirit animal work. And she received her training from a Paiute teacher. So she did a lot of totemism work with him, and I wanted to take it a little bit in a different direction because I'm Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. So I wanted to honor that lineage within myself. So we came up with this concept of spirit animals, and she helped me craft this meditation. And a lot of people think that your spirit animal is your favorite animal, and it's not. Very rarely is it your favorite animal. Oftentimes, and I've traveled all over offering spirit animal workshops and lectures and this meditation that we're going to do today. But what I have found is the animal that a lot of people are afraid of is actually their spirit animal.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. And a lot of that is we have parts of ourselves that we keep hidden and tucked away. And we're not ready to accept and embrace those. And they're parts of ourselves that we're afraid of often. And so to have it come through as an animal, it allows us to, once again, disconnect from human ego and be more connected with the elements and allow that part of ourselves to surface a little more. I didn't like wolves at all. I was always very scared of them. And when I felt a shift coming, I knew my spirit animal was shape-shifting with me as I was going through major transition in my life. And when I sat down and, I said, I'm shifting, I need to figure out what my power spirit animal is right now. And wolf came through, and I was very resistant about the wolf.
Wow.
It was not an energy that because I had previously anchored into owl energy for so long, like a good almost 8.5 years. I had embraced owl as my spirit animal. And when wolf came through, it shook my foundation a lot.
Wow, that's really incredible.
Yeah. So a lot of times, I remember I was at a Wild Woman Symposium, and I had 63 people in my class. And the woman came up to me at the beginning, and she's like, if I get a snake, I am going to be so mad. And
I was just thinking that too, because you when you said you're whatever animal you're most afraid of, and I'm like, shit, I'm afraid of snakes.
And I just kind of laughed and I said, well, you know, the animal picks you. I don't assign it to you.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And like the animal chooses you. And she's like, well, just so you know. And she, sure enough, she got a snake.
Oh, wow.
And we sat and, you know, we sat and had a good conversation over a cup of coffee after the class. And once we were able to talk about it, then she was able to see, oh, okay. So this can be something that can be life-changing, and it helps you. I find that working with spirit animals gives you an opportunity to step into your full self without that human. I mean, human ego is so detrimental to our spiritual and energetic growth.
Yes.
Right.
That when we connect with any part of nature, whether it's a plant or a stone or an animal, we really disconnect from that and we become more present in our realm. So to me, spirit animal is my most favorite kind of magic.
Wow.
So are you still, your spirit animal still a wolf at this point in time, or?
No, I have gone through a shift, and it was one totally unexpected. I could feel it starting about middle of last year, and I have shifted to an alligator.
Oh, interesting. I was wondering because you said owl and then you said a wolf and now an alligator. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I'm working with alligator as my spirit animal. I can always call on wolf. That's the nice thing is you have your primary spirit animal for about 7 years, and you can always call and work on that on a daily basis. But throughout your life and throughout each day, you're going to have other animals that come through.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I still call on wolf all the time, but now I have a new animal energy coming through within myself. And to sit with it and look at it, it's giving me a little bit more insight. And I liken often, I mean, if you look at the similarities, the way that alligators and wolves live within their family dynamic is very similar.
Right.
But for me, I'm looking at alligator as I need to put on a little extra layer of protection, and I need to like really activate that bite, because there's a lot more teeth in an alligator mouth than there is a wolf mouth.
Makes sense.
For sure.
Yeah. So anytime you work with spirit animals, I tell people, just think of you, you're going in front of a mirror and you get to see yourself at your most raw, primal, and natural self. So you get to see yourself as an animal looking back. So it's not like you're getting a brand new part of you. It's like you're seeing a part of you that you haven't laid eyes on yet.
That makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
It does. It does. Sis, I'll turn it over to you.
Which cultures have the richest shape-shifting traditions?
You know what? That's really hard to say. And I think it would be a disservice for me to even try to answer that. Every culture has a connection to animals. And if you look back at the whole thesis of my first book, Animals as Gods, was relating to different cultures and how their deities first started off as animals. So if you look at the history of that, you have these gods and goddesses, and they always have an animal companion, always. Whether it's the Egyptians or the Celts, in the indigenous cultures, your native cultures, they always have their supreme beings. We'll just call them all deities. They always have an animal, and the animal came first.
Interesting. Wow. Well, then, in case of that too, what does it mean if you're repeatedly drawn to a particular animal?
That animal has a message for you. And a lot of times it's the attributes that you see in that animal that you are called to, you appreciate, but you have those attributes within yourself.
Okay, that's interesting. I wondered about that too.
Yeah. And there's other animals that come through quite often. Butterflies and hummingbirds are often messengers from beyond. From if you have a loved one that have passed, they will come through in a form of a hummingbird or a butterfly, just to let you know they're still hovering around. They're still nearby.
My dad presents as a black dragonfly, which is very rare around this part of the country. So yeah.
Yeah. So you know, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So and you know, my husband, he'll always see a hummingbird, and the hummingbird represents, you know, his grandfather.
Oh.
And for me, when my best friend passed away from cancer, when I woke up the next morning, my whole yard was filled with butterflies.
Oh, how beautiful.
So I always will liken that, like, and I'll call them all her name, be like, "Hey, Amy." And anytime I have a little butterfly that will come up and say hi to me, it's just that reminder of, oh, you're still around.
Right.
Mhm.
I love that.
I do too.
Well, do you have any other questions before we do meditation?
Oh, we got a lot of questions, but
Hey, how about it? The meditation only takes like 8 minutes.
oh, well, have you ever experienced what you believe was a form of shape-shifting, but it wasn't? Because I know a lot of people who says, I think I shape-shifted, and then they would come back and says, no, maybe I wasn't, because they don't really know. And you already explained, you know, about shape-shifting, but have you ever experienced yourself?
Going through a shape shifting?
About, you think you did go through a shape-shifting, but then you didn't?
No, I think that's a lot of ego coming through and you're second guessing yourself. If you feel like you've shifted, you need to just be like, stick with your original inner, you know, that knee-jerk reaction of like, whoa, I just shape-shifted. And instead of going back and doubting it, that's like casting a spell and being like, oh, I don't know, did it work or didn't it? If it felt good in the moment, then it worked.
Right.
And if you feel like you shape-shifted in that moment, then you did.
So is there any risk because I know sometimes people is like, I don't want to get connected to a spiritual animal because I'm afraid of the risk something terrible is going to happen to them, but that is not the case, correct?
No, I don't think there's anything to be afraid of. I mean, to honor an animal out in nature is you're doing it for a specific reason, and that animal is worthy of your respect and adoration. So where would the risk come from?
So that's why I always tell everybody too, because yeah, I've done it before, and I'm still here.
If you look at the Norse, and they had a specific ritual done by their priestess who was the Sather at the time, and they would go into what's called the berserking ritual before they would go into battle. And there were only a few warriors that were worthy to move through the ceremony with the priestess, and they were the berserkers. And what they would do is they would go into a trance-like state. And, the Norse were well renowned for using hallucinogenic remedies like mushrooms and herbs and things like that to help them go deeper into their trance. And they would embody the essence of a bear and a wolf. And because they believed it and they channeled it so effectively, they could become wolf-like and bear-like when they would go into battle. And it was frightening, to the point where the people fighting them didn't know if they were fighting an animal or a person. It was so terrifying. Wow. And the best form of that ritual that I have seen that almost like mirrors what you read about in history is in the movie The Northman.
The Northman.
Oh, yes.
With the actor, I don't remember which Skarsgård brother it is, but they take them through the actual berserking ritual, and it is phenomenally well done in that movie, and it really gives you an insight to what they would go through. But if you believe you have the strength of a bear and you believe it to your core, you can and do achieve that power of a bear.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It
I mean, the only thing that limits us from being more powerful than we really are is our imagination and our belief system. I mean, our mind is the most powerful tool, which is why people can use kinesiology and they can channel things and move physical objects and things. It comes from the power of the mind. So to believe that you are one with your spirit animal, you are one with your spirit animal because you believe it.
Wow. I do have a very interesting question. What signs indicate that you are connecting with a spiritual animal?
I was just going to say that too. That's what I wanted to know as well. No, that's perfect. That's awesome. We're both on the same page.
So like what physical signs will show you that you're connecting with that animal?
Yes.
You're going to start to see a lot of similarities with that animal in how you move, what you eat, how you vocalize, how your physical senses of like sight and your smell, even, you know, your sense of taste, you start to develop a liking to that animal. And it's just like that mirror reflection of, oh, that's right. This is the animal that I'm working with. This is the animal I'm vibing with. I mean, when I went from working with Al to working with wolves, when I was with Al, I was a vegetarian. I didn't like meat. I didn't want meat. And as I moved more into wolf, I really wanted meat. I craved it all the time. And I wanted to explore different kinds of meats and really like, you know, get down with my food. And I would notice that, you know, my sense of smell was stronger. And I always tell people, like, you know, when I was working with wolf, it was like, you know, lick your chops and get to work, like sharpen those teeth, like you want to dig in. And the more you work with the animal, the more you want to embody and utilize their language. So if you're working with an animal that swims, you're going to be using watery words to describe how you're flowing and navigating the flow of the waters within yourself. If you're working with an animal that's a digger, you're going to use those terminologies to really dig down deep and be one with the earth. And, you know, wolf energy was very much providing and creating a safe den, and understanding that wolf has companion animals too that come through. And one of the main companion animals for wolves is a raven.
Ooh.
And the ravens are actually, when you look at how they are in nature, ravens they guard the nursery of the wolf pups. So they are actually allowed to go down into the den, and they keep the den clean. And so they're one of the first companions for the wolf pups are these ravens. So working with spirit animals really opens up your mindset to see how all the animals work together in their own little way. But unlike humans, they're not asking anyone to compromise or change who they are for their comfort. So that's really what I like about spirit animal is it teaches you to just love and own and accept yourself, and love and own and let other people accept themselves. But we get caught up in these bubbles like, hey, you know what? You're making me uncomfortable. I don't like it. Can you tone it down a bit? And that's a big disservice. And in the animal kingdom, no animal's going to do that. No raven's going to go up to, you know, a big eagle and be like, whoa, you're making me freaked out. Can you be less of an eagle today? They're just not. And that's another thing that shows up when you were talking about, like, what are the signs that you can tell? You're going to notice who you want to be around, what kind of people you want to be around. For example, my mother her spirit animal is a cardinal, and she chirps and chirps all day long. And that's great. That's her power. But for, you know, a wolf and now an alligator, I just don't have a lot of patience for chirping. So, and I, you know, even in my coven years ago, when I was very strong in wolf pack, everybody in my coven at the time was a cat of some form. And I'd be doing coven meetings, and they'd be all cuddled up. They'd be playing with each other's hair, and, you know, and I'd be sitting there going, "Kate, can the cat circle stop? And can we focus on the task at hand?" But it was like, when we would break for food, it was like corralling feral cats. I'm like, come back. Like, let's stay focused. So you really do start to take on the energy and those attributes of the animals. And you start to take note of all these people around you. And I've noticed a lot more wolf energy. I feel very comfortable with other people who resonate and have spirit animal as a wolf. And I can always tell when a cat comes through, and, you know, you can always tell the bird. But you just learn to, okay, that's their vibe and we're going to let them do that. But there are definite signs that you'll be aware of.
Well, sis, I have you go ahead and with another question before we get started with meditation.
Well, I think this works it works really well to go into that. How important is grounding before attempting this work?
I don't know. Again, that's open to the person. I don't want to like gatekeep and say there's one way or not a way. People understand their energetic boundaries. And, you know, I've heard people say, well, don't do any magic. Don't do any spell work. Don't do any kind of meditation if you've had a bad day or if you're tired or if you're hungry. And I think, you know, when you're in those heightened states where you've depleted your physical body, oftentimes the best thing you can do is move into some kind of magical space. Yes. So whatever works for the individual, if you feel like you need to be grounded and anchored and, you know, hydrated, whatever you do to be grounded for you, that's a personal decision. And I would never say, yes, you have to have that, or no, you don't have to have that. Because it comes down to, this is your personal experience and connection. So move through it when and if and how you're ready.
Got it. Perfect.
Wow.
Did you want to do another question, Chrissy, or did you want to go ahead and go into the...
Let's just go ahead and do the meditation. There
Perfect.
might be some questions afterwards, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So all you have to do is close your eyes, and I'm going to take you through a brief meditation. I'm going to close my eyes with you and move through the meditation at the same time because, like I said, you have your primary spirit animal, but a lot of times you'll have other animals come through that have a message for you throughout the day. So I'm going to go through the meditation. I'm going to see if I get a different animal today as well.
Perfect. Cool. Okay.
So just go ahead and close your eyes.
Okay.
And bring your awareness to your breath. So take a nice inhale and exhale. And breathe in again. And breathe out. And breathe in again, nice and slow. And breathe out. And just allow your body to create its own rhythm of inhale and exhale. Giving your physical body permission to release and relax all tension. Letting your forehead relax, your eyelids becoming heavy. And just feel as that relaxation drifts down your body. Moving down your jaw, to your neck, your shoulders, all the way down your arms to your fingertips and back up to your arms. Feeling that heavy, comfortable weight of relaxation moving down your chest, into your core, your center, where it glides down your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, all the way down to your feet. And with your physical body comfortably relaxed, you simply breathe into your mind's eye. Breathe into that source where all things are possible. And I want you to visualize yourself standing at the entrance of a cave. And as you peer further into the cave, you notice it's a little dark, but there's a pole to enter the cave. And when you're ready, going at your own speed, you make your way into the cave, observing the walls of the cave, the floor of the cave, and you keep feeling this pull to go deeper. So you follow that pull and you move deeper into the cave and deeper and deeper. And although it is dark, you see a faint light coming from ahead of you. And it feels as if this is a cave at all. It's actually a tunnel. And so you make your way through this beautiful tunnel. You may climb over rocks. The floor may be sandy. It's your tunnel, so you make your way, reaching towards the light. And as it begins to open up and you feel more light, you find yourself standing in a forest, a beautiful forest. The forest is alive and thriving. You see the tall trees, the wildflowers, the shrubbery. And as you stand and connect with the forest, you may hear animals in the forest. And you see at your feet a pathway that winds through the forest. And so you follow it, feeling the spongy forest floor beneath your feet. You wind your way through the tall trees and the shrubbery, simply following this pathway in the forest. And as it winds around this last tree on the left, you see it opens up to a beautiful meadow. You don't enter the meadow yet. Instead, you pause and just stare out at the beautiful, calm meadow. And the meadow is outlined with trees on the far side, thick trees. And as you look far off to that other side of the meadow, you see a shadow moving. And just wait and watch as an animal steps out into the meadow. And as you watch this animal make its way to the center of the meadow, it simply stops and stares at you. And you have a brief second of recognition where you see the animal and the animal sees you.
Grandma, Grandma, could the computer die?
As you see this,
What is my mom?
that's not the animal. But go back to that space, going back to that mindset. See the meadow. See the animal. And now that you've seen it, wait for it to beckon to you. And slowly, you make your way to the center of the meadow. Move however fast or slow you need, but make connection with this animal. With the animal in front of you and you in front of the animal, you begin to move with this animal. So see how this animal mimics your movement and you in return mimic it, as if you are doing a dance in the meadow. And see how it wants to get closer and you want to get closer. Knowing you are safe and knowing that the animal chooses you, I want you to reach out and touch this animal. Make physical contact with this animal. Again, knowing you are perfectly safe. This animal has chosen you. Connect. Now that you've seen this animal, you've felt this animal, I want you to ask it to speak to you. I want you to listen to its call. Now that you've embraced this animal on a physical and auditory level, you're ready to leave the meadow. This time, as you turn your back on the meadow and follow the pathway through the forest, you're not alone because the animal is with you. And observe how it moves. Is it standing at your side? Is it walking in front of you, flying above you? Observe where this animal is in position to you physically and feel the companionship and security it offers you. As you move side by side, no longer separate, you become one force, you and this animal. Move along the pathway. back through the forest to the entrance of the cave that you know is a tunnel. And together, you and your animal journey through the tunnel back to where you began. And just breathe that in. Breathe in that companionship, that knowing, that familiarity. And when you're ready, come back to your senses, taking a breath in and a breath out. And slowly wiggling your fingers and your toes, opening your eyes and coming back to the present. So did you get an animal? Okay. So
Yes.
first of all, having little distractions in meditation totally happens. I mean, I'm sure you've heard my dog. He doesn't like the animal that came through. It made him a little nervous. So animals will naturally respond to different energies in the home. So that's another sign to be aware of when you're working with spirit animals, is if you have animals in your home, they're going to feel it. And so just be mindful of that as well. But a lot of times I find that having little distractions, they can help you go deeper into meditation because you're training your brain. So your intuition, that tool that helps you connect in meditation, it gets stronger the more you use it. So
no, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the animals that came through.
So mine was a leopard.
A leopard?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the first time I ever had a leopard. And, you know, because I had several animals before, you know, like you said, you know, you have they come and go, you could call upon them and everything. But a leopard, and I don't know, because I mean, you know, it's not like I never seen a movie with a leopard in it recently or anything like that. It just came through. And it could be that, you know, I noticed that after Mercury retrogrades, that your whole body shifts too as well. So that was kind of interesting.
Okay, good. Was it a male or female leopard? Could you tell?
No, it was a female.
Okay.
It was a female. Because she came up and just, I mean, she even gave me her name of Kara, something like that. And she just, my face and just say, I'm going to walk with you. So, and then when my granddaughter came in, it was like she was in attack mode, you know, like, you know, protecting me or something. So that was kind of strange. That was kind of caught me off guard in a way.
It happens. Well, medium red, what did you get?
I had a bear.
Okay. What kind of bear?
He looked like a grizzly bear when he stood, and it was a he. He stood so tall, and when you said to connect, like I remember putting my hand in his paw and thinking that it was like, it looked like a little kid's hand compared to the size of this paw, the pads and the nails and everything that he had. It was intense. And then it was interesting, like when you said, you know, notice how they're walking and where they're walking. He was directly behind me, almost as like he had my back, you know, like following me to make sure like no one attempts to attack me from behind type of thing. So, yeah. So what's the bear? I'm kind of curious with Chrissy having the leopard, you know, I'm kind of curious, is there a meaning behind each one of those or?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you look at a bear, it's that reminder that you are very strong and that your energy is much bigger than you feel it is. And you're also very protected. So if you think of a bear, bears move slow with precision, but they have a thick layer of rubber between their fur and their muscle. And that is something to take into consideration with bear. You're not going to be easily persuaded to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
If people try to persuade you, they're really going to have to do a good job to get through that layer of protection, that rubber, to get through to you.
Interesting.
But the fact that it's behind you is just giving you that security of, no, you have a lot more strength and you can keep moving forward. You might not move at the pace like that you would like to, or that others think you should, but bears go at their own pace, their own time, just like all animals do. And it's that, tap into that awareness of a bear's heightened senses. Bears are, yes, they're a predator, but they're not always on alert to attack. They're just doing their thing, and they like to be left alone. They're more of a solitary than a pack animal.
Mm-hmm.
So you just keep doing your thing and go at your own pace.
That makes a lot of sense right now. That's pretty darn spot on, I have to say. That's
Good.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Now with the leopards, cats live in colonies. That's what you call, instead of like a wolf pack, it's a colony. So the fact that your granddaughter came through and your cat responded, your leopard was like, a lot of that is grandma being like, I'm in the middle of something and you're interrupting me. And the leopard's doing the same thing. The leopard's like, whoa, what is happening right now? But a lot of times I find that leopards come through, especially, did it have all of its spots? Was it an older leopard or a young?
No, it was a young one.
Okay. So you're going through a state of transitioning when you have a younger animal that's going through, like, and cats have a very playful, curious nature about them. But those spots represent just that changing of, hey, no, we're shifting things and we're looking at things a little bit differently right now. But also understand that leopards are very, very fast. And they're very fast for a reason. And so you may be in a state where just to avoid conflict or any kind of confrontation, you don't want any kind of drama, you're always moving really, really, really fast.
That sounds
wow, that's pretty spot on.
Really. Yeah, that sounds really spot on. And like I said, since Mercury, things are, because usually Mercury does not affect me. This time it really did. And that's the first time forever, because I always kind of like not really make fun of people who says, oh, it's Mercury, I'm all messed up. And I'm like, no, you're not. Don't blame Mercury. But this time it really just kind of came after me with a vengeance. It's like, we haven't got you yet, we're going to get you. And then so with the leopard, it was like transitioning, and it's like you were saying, right now it's like I'm in the middle of things that I don't want to be, but I'm kind of dragged into it.
Yeah, exactly. And the insight I would give you with leopard is know that leopards can climb trees, and they do spend a lot of time up in trees. And they're energetically, how you can apply that to is you can go up high and look at things beneath you and get a different perspective. There was a lot of times when I was working with owl energy that I would climb up onto my roof and do a lot of meditation up there just so I can get a different physical perspective and a different insight. And you can do that energetically. The power of the mind is amazing. So you can visualize being that leopard and going high up into the tree and looking at what you're dealing with as down on the ground beneath you. And then knowing, well, which way do I navigate? And do I need to pounce on this situation right now? Or can I just let it simmer and pass by?
Sounds like me right now. Yes.
Yeah. And so, and a lot of that is shape shifting. So now that you have your animal, then how do you embody that animal energy? And so I tell people, it's a good idea now that you've made this connection to honor the connection with putting some kind of representation of this animal on your altar or on your mirror so you can see it every day. And then watch this animal. And YouTube, honestly, is our only source for that. But you can watch this animal in its natural habitat. How is this animal a predator and how is this animal as prey? Because every animal, and insects included, are both prey and predator. So you can liken it to a masculine, a feminine, a light, a dark, predator, and prey. Every animal and insect and energetic being has this polarity, this side and this side, and which side are you feeding? And it's okay to at times, okay, I'm going to be a little bit more prey-like. And oh, you know what? No, I'm going to be more predator. And that predator is that drive of, I'm going to get stuff done. I feel attacked. I have my hunches up. I'm going to show some teeth. I'm a bear. I'm going to get up on my hind legs and show people, no, I'm bigger than you think I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, and those are all ways of shape shifting and saying, no, I honor this connection. I'm going to work with it. The other is go into a meditative state. You know your animal, and where it gave you your name. I love that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You can call on that animal. You can give it a name if it didn't tell you its name, and you just visualize becoming one. So with wolf, what I would do is I would visualize wolf jumping up behind me and putting its paws on my shoulder, and I would sink back and pull its fur on me. So then I was like sinking into wolf and becoming one with that wolf. And then I would often get on all fours to do my meditation and move around as a wolf would do. And you can do that as a leopard, and you can do that as a bear. But the power of the mind to see that is huge. The other thing to realize is that your spirit animal is an extension of your energy. So you can send it to work for you. So a lot of times wolves are very territorial. And before I would go into an unknown space, I would close my eyes and visualize one of my wolves doing a parameter check. So I would send them into that space, do a parameter check, run back, and come back to me and tell me, is it safe for me to go in here or not? And if I felt any kind of hesitation within my body, usually in my stomach or on my upper back, where the hunches are on a dog, I wouldn't go. And if I felt comfortable, like, oh yeah, this feels good, then I would go into that space. So they become an energetic companion and protector of you, because it's a part of you that is now surfacing. And so energetically, your soul wants to be kept safe. So you can work with your spirit animal in a lot of different ways. But a lot of it is, what are the similarities that you have with it as predator and prey? So I tell people, make a list. And then you start to see, oh, I do that a lot. And a lot of that prey is your reactions to things when you feel threatened, is how you respond. And if you're more of a predator, like as a wolf, I'm more of apex predator. So when I feel threatened, I'm going to show some teeth and like start to bark or bite a little bit. But, it was interesting doing this meditation is I had a black wolf and then I had a very young alligator.
Interesting.
So I'm still on that verge of shifting a little bit, and the wolf will always stay. But the alligators, the last time I did this meditation, it was a very big, full-grown alligators. But today it was very young, and I think that's what my dog was responding to, was a little alligator kind of moving around the space. Like, what is that?
So you say keep a list. So, because I always, I do keep a list, but it's kind of like a journal, because I journal my way to each animal that I, come across when I do, some meditation. So doing a journal would be just excellent, correct?
Yeah, I would do a journal. I would write down predator and prey. I would write down the things you observe as both, and then I would write down the similarities that you share with both of those.
Interesting.
And then you'll start to tap into what are their key features, these animals? What senses do they really rely on? So, for example, a deer, they're very observatory and keen on their peripheral eyesight and their ears. Like, they can hear things coming miles before it even gets close to it. So each animal has its strengths when their senses. And so you want to get to know your animal and understand, okay, so that's something that I can be capable of doing too. So I'm going to step into that and embody that.
Well, says I'm take it over to you.
I'm still in awe over here.
What do you think of Bear? Were you surprised to have Bear come through?
Yeah, very much. Very much so. I was for certain, since you said it's usually an animal that you're afraid of. I'm like, snakes. So I was really actually like prepared for a snake, but all of a sudden when you said see a movement in the forest, and all of a sudden I saw it was a grizzly bear on he was fully extended, standing on two legs, you know. And
Yeah.
so that was like, okay. Yeah, I kind of am afraid of those too.
I mean, for good reason. They are very large.
Well, yeah, and it's like you said, there is a very calculated and manipulated pace that when they're going to attack, you know. So even like having that connection of looking at him in the middle of the meadow before you proceeded to go towards him, I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure I want to go towards him right now. I don't know what's going to happen. And I get close, you're like, okay, now touch him. I'm like, oh God, he's going to swipe and kill me. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to do that. So yeah, it was very surprising. But when you explained that, you know, it's definitely like Chrissy is going through some stuff, you know, and I'm going through some stuff too. It's very interesting. You know, what I picked up on was the solo aspect, and it's interesting. I've been contemplating a few things in my mind. I was kind of talking to Chrissy before you came in backstage, and I was like, you know, I'm very discouraged about a certain part of what I do, and it's not necessarily my mediumship, but that seems to be where I'm driven to go more solo, is to be more of a solo, like a Cindy Kaza or a Tyler Henry, that kind of aspect to it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's Bear energy is very solitary.
Yeah. So that really resonated. It was like ding, 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 ding.
Good.
So yeah, that was great. I mean, I was blown away, totally blown away by that. Cause like I said, I really thought it was going to be the snake. And I'm like, oh, I got to accept a snake now.
Well, I'll tell you, snake often comes through when people are going through a major rebirthing and they're shedding quite a bit. It's when that snake comes through to be like, you have to shed the old to see the shiny layer underneath.
Yeah.
So with both Chrissy and I now, you know, I've identified the bear. She's identified the leopard. So at what do we know that we've had these particular animals for a certain amount of time now, and that's something that we would have to determine through meditation with them? How much, and what would be, how do I say this? How much in the future do we have with this particular spirit animal? Is there the time frame is 7 years?
Yeah, I always connect it to your Saturn return.
Okay.
So depending on where you're at on your age cycle, you know that every 7 years, if you were to go and trace it back, starting with when you turned 7, you would know that something cataclysmic happened then, and then when you were 14, and then when you were 21, and so on. And so it's when Saturn comes to play in your house again, that's when things start to become the tower, fall apart, so you can get back to your foundation.
Okay.
So I would liken it to that. Like, I know I've had wolf for so long that I knew a shift was coming, and I honestly expected it when I turned 42, and it didn't start to shift until last year when I was 45. So I'm not going to be surprised if when I hit 49, I have another shatter and a shift, and another animal comes through. So, and that's just my personal practice is the primary animal stays with you for about 7 to 9 years.
Okay, perfect.
So, but you'll know when it's time. For example, you know, my sister, she got a female gorilla last time we did her spirit animal. And it really, like, it scared all of us. Like, when my family has reunions, they have me do spirit readings for everybody, so we can see the zoo of a family that we're in. And it really startled all of us that she would have this female gorilla come through, because it's not at all my sister. That's not her personality. But she was going into a time, and it just happened within that time frame that she needed to step up and be the powerful matriarch and really fierce and frightfully, she had to fight for her family and be this fearsome creature. And it was very short lived. Like the gorilla only stayed for a matter of weeks until the situation was handled. And then she was able to soften and step back, and she did another meditation, and another animal came through. So it really just depends on where you're at and what you're processing in your life. What animal is going to come through as your biggest mirror and say, okay, hey, pay attention. This is what you need to step into.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Now, when you do these meditation now can like your first spiritual animal will kind of like walk with you to like your next spiritual animal, or your, let's say, your first, second, or third walk to your fourth spiritual animal, you know, like kind of like passing the torch, you know, she is now yours.
A lot of times you'll have a lot of the animals you worked with show up in one way or another in the meditation. And I have this meditation on my YouTube channel. I didn't even think of posting the link for, but I'll send it to you afterwards. That way people can go back and you can do it again if you want. But there's like, I've had people that do the same meditation every morning just to see what animal is coming through. Your brain and your subconscious work so quickly that you can actually go into your daily, whatever your devotion is, and just connect with like, what animal has a message for me today and how can I pay attention more to it?
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And then pay attention to, you know, the real animals that are showing up in your life and seasonally how they're showing up. Like, for example, right now, I have a lot of lizards coming through. They're everywhere. And so I understand that, you know, yeah, it's hot outside. I live in the desert, but I'm also in a state where I'm shedding and going through that growth. And it was fun the other day that I had a big event. So I had people coming, and the lizard that crossed my path, he had no tail. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I have let parts of myself behind, and I'm growing new parts as well. So the more you tap into animals as teachers and gods, you start to realize they're all here to teach you something. You just have to pay attention to them. Even our animals that, you know, are our pets, they're always showing up in certain ways differently each day to give us a little bit of insight.
I know when I read your book, Animals as Gods, I couldn't put it down because it was how you explain, you know, description to each animal and everything was just so fascinating. You know, I had to take notes.
Love that.
It's like, you know, when you take notes on a book that you're reading, it takes forever to read it. So I have to, okay, I stop here for the notes. I need to read this, you know, before she comes on. But I love that book. I really do. It's
thank you.
For anybody who are curious about the meaning of animals, you know, description, you know, with meditation that you have, like we just did, that is a really good book to reference your animals that you that is coming through in your meditation. And I love that book. I just want to let you know. I just only do love it.
Do you have my second book, The Wheel of the Year?
I do not have that. I have only ones I have is Animals as Gods and Freya, and then I'm waiting for your new book to come out because I know you have a new book coming out.
I do. I'm in the process of writing a Lilith book right now, and I did just release a step-by-step guide to puppet magic. So that's available in Kindle and it's available in paperback. I just released that on Amazon earlier in July. So I did send you the link for the puppet. I'm going to be doing a series of step-by-step. So I'm working on doing a green witchery step-by-step natural healing book as well that will be on Amazon and Kindle and paperback. But I have that one. I'm going to send you my second book. So the second book is working with animals in the turning of the wheel. So seasonally, we have different animals come through that are teaching us how to activate and embody the energies that we're dealing with on a seasonal level.
I forgot Loki. My husband is reading Loki right
good.
now. I forgot. He just got that book. I'm like, when you was talking, it's like, wait a minute, there's another book too. What was I just remember it was Loki.
You gotta have a little bit of Loki energy. I mean, and Loki is all coyote. That is his spirit animal. He's the mischievous one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was one of his spirit animals a long time ago.
Oh, nice.
Coyote. So that's kind of fun, and you just mentioned that. But yeah, he's really enjoying the book. I think he only has like one or two more chapters to go. Then, yeah, he really likes it. So.
Oh, good. I love that. Thank you.
I just bought the Animals as Gods, so I just did that. So
just
now.
Good.
Thank you.
You won't be disappointed.
I'm really proud of it. It turned out really good. So it was a fun one to work through with the animals, and Lilith will come through too, and she has a screech owl that wants to come through in this book. So we're gonna see what
that'd be interesting.
Revisiting Al's going to be like, with a little bit of more of a darker side to it.
Love it. That's awesome.
So what's coming up for you? I know that you have some projects in besides the Lilith book, but you also started a new Facebook group too, Desert Rich. So is there anything else that's coming up that you would like the audience to know?
No, I'm always doing something. I'm always available for, I do one-on-one consultations all the time. So if someone is interested in doing an in-depth one-on-one virtual, and I do in person, of course, where I live, spirit animal expansion, where we go through the meditation again, and how do you embody it? How do you work with it? I'm always available for that. I do tarot readings all the time, and locally, I do a lot of herbal consulting with people. So if they're not feeling well, we'll have a consultation and figure out ways to get more plant allies into their body and develop a different relationship with, how do you grow the plant? How do you consume the plant? And how is it going to bring you into a state of balance? So I'm always doing something. It's funny. I had a random stranger and she was like, you probably need a hobby. I'm like, I probably need that.
Yeah.
She looked at her and laughed, and I was like, "Oh, you don't know me." I have a lot of hobbies, but I have been locally, doing my best to get people to come out and embrace their individuality in their own practice, rather than thinking you had to be one way or another to practice witchcraft. I have a collaboration coven where anyone is welcome, all are invited. I think of coven work as, it's a big, huge cauldron. You need everybody to come through with their individual ingredient, their essence, and really add it to the pot, and let's create together. For years, I did dogmatic, coven work where there was a hierarchy, and it just felt really icky to me. So now it's like, just come as you are. We'll do some magic. It's very like Loki chaos energy, and it works. So we had a lovely practical magic event the other night, and I have a big witches market coming up on the 8th. And it's just opening up that space to getting people to come out and be themselves, rather than unfortunately buy into the trend and the hobby that witchcraft has become in America, and think you have to do it this way or that way, and you have to be glitzy or glammy, or you can't do this or you can't do that. It's just show up and do it. Do it tired if you have to, but just show up.
Yeah,
I love it. That's awesome.
But yeah, I am working on the Green Witchery book, and I'm working on a Savage Sorcery book. So more of like how to move through, create a daily practice and devotion in a way that, goes against what other people say, the light and fluff. I have a really hard time with toxic positivity. I think magic has to have a dark and a light in order for there to be balance. So it's not all light and fluff and Skittles shooting out of a unicorn's ass.
Sunshines and rainbows.
Right? I mean, you have to be willing to be, nitty gritty. And, I'll tell people all the time, I'm a dirty priestess. So a lot of times when I have a ceremony, you're going to see me still covered in dirt from prep work, because I'd rather just show up as myself than go put on a costume.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, I understand that. Well, it's been a pleasure. I mean, it's been fun. It's been really, really fun. I always love having you on,
Oh, I love having it. Just tell me when and where, and I'll be there.
So, well, you're talking about, the herbs and stuff. I don't think we haven't had a podcast yet where somebody can talk about like everyday herbs you can use,
Oh,
so that'd be
sign me up.
something. Yeah, that'd be really something for you to come on maybe this fall or something after everybody harvests everything. How do we use these that we have harvest?
Well, maybe we could do a winter prep, because honestly, people need to get back to understanding the herbs and how to utilize them. And it's so simple. Like everything you need for a spell is already in your kitchen.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I keep telling everybody that, and they're just kind of like, this is and that is. I'm like, yeah, you can use that.
Yeah, I mean,
there's so
kitchen
many
witchery.
substitutions.
Yeah, kitchen witchery comes natural and easy, and there are some things you outsource. Like my husband and I did. We went to Louisiana to get specific things that grew there, so we could add it to our apothecary. But there's herbs for just about anything, whether you're doing occult external work or spiritual work, or you want to internally reset and balance and heal and cleanse. The remedies are simple. And a lot of them, my grandma was the backwoods witch of Kentucky. And so a lot of the recipes it's just passed down orally. So it's simple, like her simple cough syrup recipe that she does every winter. And, it tastes like you're drinking a candy cane. But it's something that, she used for decades. And my uncles used, and they found the recipe and gave it to me, and I used for my kids and grandkids. And I think a winter prep would be a good one to do.
That would be a good one. We have to get together and talk about that and see and put you on the calendar, because that would be excellent, I think. And we
and
always love having you, so we always try to make some kind of excuse to have you back.
Don't need an excuse. I'll just take the invitation.
Great. But to the audience, I hope you enjoy. I hope you had a good meditation. She will send me the link, and I will put it on the YouTube description, so you can always go in there and listen to her doing the meditation. Also connect to her through all the links that's going across the screen and everything. She's a woman of many talents. I'm telling you this. So please jump over there and just look her up and talk to her. And
reach out to me. I'd love to hear what people get for their animals.
Absolutely, that's fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And in the meantime, subscribe to Within the Cauldron. Go over to Medium Red site, Medium Red AZ as in Arizona.com. She will be there to help you too. We like helping everybody out. It's just something that we love doing. So many blessings, everybody. And I hope you continue watching the next episodes. And bless you all.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Have a good day.
Stay behind, Lady Wolf.
Yeah. I think, are we still live?